Here goes nothing.
Hey everybody, I'm Ron Burke, Editor-in-Chief for Gamingtrend.com, providing voice work for Adam Moreno, and it's time to talk about Donkey Kong Bananza. One of the first games I ever played on the N64 was Donkey Kong 64. That game, in my mind, even today, was one of the most engaging games of the console. From the sheer amount of collectibles, which at the time was a record, to the music and the lovable cast of characters, DK64 is my favorite Donkey Kong mainline title. However, that might have changed recently with the release of Donkey Kong Bananza. The first huge title from Nintendo on the Switch 2 since release has been hyped up more than almost any Nintendo game in a while, and there's a reason. This game, other than a few tiny bits and bobs, is an absolute perfect blast of the past while pushing the character forward. When the first look for Bananza came out, I initially thought it would be a rehash of Mario Odyssey, with Pauline working as the magical element. I assumed we'd be traveling around collecting bananas and transforming into different objects and items to move around. However, the more I saw from the previews and trailers, the more excited I got that they might capture that feeling from Donkey Kong 64 once more, only for the Switch 2. After playing it myself, I can say that this game brings that feeling back with a lot to look forward to in the future of the franchise, while providing enough nostalgia that even older fans of the Kong family can have fun and enjoy. There will be some slight spoilers ahead for the story, but none of the final 3 layers will be discussed. Here you play as what seems to be a younger version of Donkey Kong than we've seen much of in the past. I say that as Pauline is quite a bit younger during this game, and since she's an adult in Odyssey and Mario Kart World, we can assume that this is at least before the story of Mario Odyssey. This also takes place after the events of the Donkey Kong Country series, based on some of the conversations with Diddy and Dixie Kong. The only game I'm not sure how it fits in the timeline is Donkey Kong 64. As we begin, DK is digging for bananas when the Void Company, the main villains of Bananza, blast in and cause untold chaos to the world as a whole. In the aftermath, DK sees a chunk of odd purple rock hit the ground nearby. This rock is really what starts DK's journey as we climb to reach the top to see what the damage to the area truly is. The odd rock ends up being revealed to be Pauline, shocker, and here we go. Movement in Donkey Kong Bananza is extremely fluid for such a large character. While he feels strong enough to move and jump around, it doesn't feel like he ever really gets in the way of getting things done in each layer. As you jump from higher heights, DK will land and smash into the ground. His punches will fully break most anything in his normal form, allowing that even if you get lost, you can just punch your way in a direction until you find something to do. If you ever played the Incredible Hulk games, like Hulk Ultimate Destruction specifically, it sometimes feels like that level of destruction is possible at any given time. You have rolling abilities to keep moving as fast as you can, and I loved combining a roll into a punch for that absolute cool factor. Alongside the rolling, DK's climbing speed makes traversal a blast. It's a far cry from the speed, or lack thereof, of Link's climbing in Breath of the Wild. I found myself in new areas climbing as high as I could early on to see what drew my eye first before jumping down and heading in that direction. The new feature for Bananza are the Bananzas themselves, which uses Pauline's singing and DK's drum beats to create new versions of DK by mashing up his ape form with the form of Ultimate Kong, Zebra, Ostrich, Snake, and Elephant. These do the following. Kong breaks things easily and gets you through where normal punches can't. Zebra allows you to run on breakable floors and move quickly. Ostrich allows you to glide, which is more like falling with style at times, and drop egg bombs. Snake has a mega high jumping ability and powers up to allow for power slams. And finally, Elephant's ability allows you to suck up floors, walls, lava, and more to create boulders of those elements to throw around the map. These Bananzas are so much fun and allow for a lot of replayability, since you'll be able to return to earlier layers with your freshly unlocked Bananzas. There are 17 layers that serve as levels for the game. Each one brings something different to the Bananza. You have beaches and jungles, and ice worlds, and so much more. Each of these floors includes side quests, locations to explore, Easter eggs, power-ups, and lots of collectibles. I found my ADHD brain truly scratched by this game because no matter what direction you go, including up and down, you're bound to find rewards for exploring.
tisk, tisk. Look at your feet, DK. They're covered in mud. You can't just barge in here and track dirt all over the dirt.
There are side quests aplenty throughout each level, with quests such as searching an area for stuck characters, breaking walls that other characters can't, and using your Bananza powers to get to different areas while platforming, and many more. There's always something to do, and always rewards for doing them. Bananza is built for you to be able to play as much or as little as you want during a sitting. If you have 30 minutes during a lunch break, you can get 1 to 3 side quests done. Have 45 minutes? Well, you can get a full main quest finished. Enjoy this game in a way that allows you to finish it the way you want to finish it. If you push yourself, you can probably finish it in 20 hours. If you do side quests, find secrets, and collect gold, you're looking at least 40 to 60 hours, or more, especially with post-game content. Speaking of gold, get as much as you can at all times. Gold is the essence of this game overall. The world provides you with plenty of options to grab gold, you just have to take those chances. Gold helps you take banana pieces and turn them into bonanzas, pay for rest zones, pay for items, respawn after falling or losing your hearts, and more. Since I pushed really hard to get through levels, I reached the end and almost ran out of gold for how hard the last 4 levels can be. This almost made me have to return to upper layers to get more gold, but I made it through. The difficulty curve for Donkey Kong Bananza is fairly easy until those last 4 layers. Before those, I didn't lose to any bosses and only failed 1 side quest I attempted. At the end of the day, this is a kids game and should be accessible to kids. That is, but just like DK64 back in the day, the ending ramps up the difficulty, making you use everything in your arsenal to your advantage to win the game. Those last 4 levels were also the first time I went out of my way to purchase items, as most everything can be found by digging into the mountains and such. As the layers became harder, it took longer to figure out what the boss's tendencies, and the need to find extra items grew. Along the way, you'll get to meet some of Kong's family, but not all of the iconic characters have returned. The most iconic of the returns are Diddy Kong, Dixie Kong, and Cranky Kong. Thankfully as well, an iconic staple of the Donkey Kong Country franchise returns in a new era, with one layer being fully rhino races with Diddy Kong and Dixie Kong. It was placed in a perfect layer placement to break up any feeling of monotony. That lack of monotony is a huge plus for Donkey Kong Bananza. Each layer provides just enough to keep things fresh and moving forward. I'm someone who needs collectathons to keep throwing new at me, or I get bored. Banjo-Kazooie is always my peak example of perfect collectathons, as you can always have something new to learn all the way up to the end, and every world felt completely different. Bananza does this very well, with you learning new ways to use your powers all the way to the end. From a visual perspective, this game was made for the Switch 2, and it looks amazing on it. Each layer looks polished and smooth. Load times are between 1 and 3 seconds at any given moment. Bananza also looks great handheld or docked, which is the goal of a console built like the Switch 2. The only nitpick I can really bring up, as boss spawns tend to bring in a lot of mud, it can lag the spawn time a bit, but it's not really anything that impacts gameplay, just terrain load speed. Bananza uses music for a lot of things that other games would use eagles, items, or the map to track. Need to know where you're going? Well, use the left bumper to whistle and see where you need to go next. Need to transform into a Bananza form? Hold left bumper and right bumper to use DK's beat, and Pauline's singing to transform. Need to open void gates or get through void tunnels? Use Pauline's singing to break those open. DK always has an iconic music set, and it was smart of Bananza to really hone in on music as a centerpiece for this character. Music is also another reason why each world feels so different even outside of visual perception. The usage of older themes from Donkey Kong 64 and other DK games, plus the new songs for each location, leads to always feeling like you're hearing something special. This is taken to a 10 when the big moments happen and the orchestra swells to its max. As someone who's obsessed with video game music, this soundtrack is bound to end up in my rotation. Donkey Kong Bananza easily could have been a copy of Mario Odyssey like some people expected, but the developers and writers did a fantastic job of taking an iconic character and playing with what actually made him iconic over the last 30 years. Bananza allows the player to play the game the way they want, with as little or as much guidance as they desire. With the focus on movement, music, and fun locations, Bananza is a treat for any fan of the iconic Donkey Kong. Adam gave Donkey Kong Bananza a 100%. Donkey Kong Bananza takes everything you'd expect from Donkey Kong games and polishes it with such a fine coat that almost any type of player can find something to have fun with. If it's collecting every banana, mastering the Bananzas, completing side quests, or just playing through a fun story, there's something fun for all ages. With plenty of Easter eggs for players familiar with the franchise, Bananza doesn't rely purely on nostalgia to make it enjoyable. If you missed collectathons or just want to experience a DK game with your kids, Bananza is a great time. I'm Ron Burke, Editor-in-Chief for Gamingtrend.com, saying thank you very much for listening to this review. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you again very soon.
Donkey Kong is here!